Pee-pee! Pee-pee's right outside, staring at me through the window. He's so cute! Pee-pee! Hello, and welcome to the 9 Lives podcast. I'm your host, Anne-Marie Avey, a.k.a. Crazy Avey. And you're here to listen to what happened to me this week. Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. So glad you're here with me. I'm so happy that you've all decided to join me on this journey of this 9 Lives podcast. I don't know where the hell it's going, but all I know is that we keep building and building a little cat cult. And I am your leader, and I really appreciate that. Papa, do you want to come in now? Sorry, he stood up and now he's like, you started the podcast without me? Bitch. Yay, hi, Pee-pee, Kippy. Kippy, Pee-pee. He's like, meow. So this week, guess what? I started walking Papa on a leash, and immediately all I keep hearing is the song Freak on a Leash, which tells me that either I'm going to do a parody of that song to Papa with him. Oh, hi, Pee-pee. For people who are watching on YouTube, Pee-pee came up and he wanted to visit, and he's right beside me, and you can see me as I scratch him and say hi. Hi. But yeah, we started walking on a leash, and he freaking loves it. He was kind of scared at first, and then he started rubbing all over the ground, and we walked to the canals, and my goal is eventually to get in the canoe that we have and to putt around in the canals, and we can have ourselves a little romantic picnic date. Can you imagine just a couple glasses of wine and some cheese and Papa? And maybe I bring out my little music. Maybe we have I play the theme song of 9 Lives. Or a little, just a little gondola ride. Just me and Pee-pee having a nice little romantic time. And let me tell you, that'll be a goddamn Instagram photo op for everyone here on the canals, that's for sure. Good boy, Pee-pee likes it. Oh my God, he's being so cute right now. He's so happy about it. I brought him back in, and he wasn't scared, didn't go under the thing. He freaking loves it. And he's so different from Colonel Meow. Colonel Meow was kind of heavier, just wanted to eat and sit around. And then you could dress him up and stuff, but then he just sit around basically most of the time, except when he was kind of playing with Boots, my golden. But Papa is an adventurer. He's a goddamn Christopher Columbus, and he wants to go out. Sorry, that's a terrible example, because now we're going to get into the Native American territory about how he wants to purge an entire existence of people. And I'm just trying to tell you that's not Papa, but he's more of a Lewis and Clark. Let me just put it that way. Sorry about that. It's more of just blazing his own little trail. Right, Pee-pee, Kippy. So I got to teach him the word walk and leash, which I know he'll get to learn, because the other day, too, if you would watch any of our videos, we had made this video called Papa Puff in the Tub. And what it was where I put a laser. Papa likes to get in the tub. He likes to sit there. And when I'm on the toilet, sometimes to pass the time, I put a little laser by the toilet, and I would put it in the tub, and he races around in the tub while I'm sitting there, and we both get what we want. I get a little entertainment, and Papa gets a little bit of exercise. So what we did is we made a video, and when we were doing this, I was like, let's just do this simple video. And while we were filming, I ad-lib songs basically all the time when it's about my cat. I can't help it. It's walking, breathing, musical over here. And when he's in the tub, I started going, pop, 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 in the tub, running around like he ain't no clown. Wanna fucking catch the red dot down. Look at Papa just jumped back up on the couch when I was singing it. My point is this. I was like singing it randomly the other day, and he looked at me and he started to like look for the red dot, and then he went into the tub thinking that's what we were going to do, which means he understands what I'm saying. Right, Pee-Pee? You do, don't you? You're such a good, smart bee. You're such a good, smart little bee. He like knows the song. He has associated the song to the laser play in the tub. It is the most hilarious thing. Like it's really a like a millennial Pavlov's dog. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, he's like getting up in my lap. You want to play, don't you? You're such a good boy. He loves me so much and I love him. He loves me and I love him, and I don't care what anyone says about us. He's so beautiful, and so is our love for each other. Anyways, it really was funny, and I had to take a break from Papa Puff in the tub, just doing it randomly, because he would go sit in the tub and just meow. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. And so he's not really doing that anymore. So what I'm thinking of is I start singing that song every time before we go to the tub. So he's only triggered by the song, which I thought was really cool, which also leads me to this leash thing, is if I say leash and go on a walk, he'll understand me. You know what I mean? He'll understand. I'm so excited. Like just the idea to communicate with Papa on some level. And he really functions well with play, not with treats. Like the broad doesn't do anything you want to do, but she loves like food. Like you have to figure out if your animal, like this is with dogs and cats, is your animal motivated by treat or play more? And Papa, the cat, is motivated by play, and it's the most hilarious thing I've ever had in a cat before. I've never had that before, and I'm really excited because that means that we get to do more fun little videos, and we get to do more fun arrangements outside, and we can go visit people and places. I'm just so thrilled. And just to let you know, like he's really good in the car. When I used to drive and take care of my mom when she was sick up in Seattle, I would drive every month, the 17 hours up, and he would come with me, and he just loved being in the car. Like he would sit in my lap. I set up a little litter box in the back so he could scratch there. Like on the ground, so he could go to the bathroom whenever, and then he just kind of wandered around and just would nap, and we'd have a nice little time. And I'm just really thrilled about this, Pee-Pee. I forget how good you are. I mean, Papa is in the national commercial that I won the Webby Award for. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. He likes to be active. It's so great. It's so great for me, Pee-Pee. Oh, he loves my little attention. I got my new Rihanna nails this week. Like I hadn't had them in a while, and he loves my Rihanna nails. If you saw, right on cue. Thanks, Pepe. He loves my Rihanna nail. The first time I saw Rihanna have this nail shape, which is basically the stiletto nail shape in case you care. It's really pointy. It could cut a bitch if necessary. But he loves, like animals love it for scratching. You can really get in there. And so he's been really excited that they're back. And I just really glad that he supports my Rihanna nail movement. My Riri nails. You're the one that I dream about all day. You are the one that I look into your face. My love is your love. Your love is Pepe. Anyways, so happy. My car is getting fixed today, which I'm really excited about. And you know what? the guy called me today. I thought it was going to be thousands of dollars. You know, when you have your car, something's really wrong. It sounds really bad. And you just go worst case scenario. Like, you're like, I'm going to have to just get a whole new car now. Or it's going to be $7,000. Like, I was like thinking it was going to be so much. And they're replacing a few things, and it turns out it's like $600. But do you know how much relief? Like, something about car stuff. I don't know if it's because my mom could never handle car stuff. Thank God for AAA. If you don't have AAA, what are you doing with your life? What the fuck are you doing with your life? Get AAA. You can help a friend out if necessary, or you can do your own shit. I remember when I was 19 and I had AAA for my 1986 Jeep Cherokee 2-door stick shift. And I really liked that car. But if you had Jeeps, they break down all the time. And it was a really fun car to drive. But I remember I have the journal of me 3 weeks in a row, my car breaking down and having to, and it was something different every time. It was like a belt. It was like, whatever. And I just had AAA, lull it all the way over to the mechanic shop, getting it fixed again. And the guy's looking at me like I'm an idiot, first of all. And I'm like, you're the one that's working on this car, not me. Am I the car? No, I'm not the goddamn car. Don't look at me like a fucking idiot. Like, that's the one thing that, this was a small town, but they were just like, the car's back again, huh? Like, she doesn't know anything about cars, which, to be fair, I don't care necessarily. I'm not interested in engine, is this a 4-cylinder or 6? Oh, 4-cylinder. Interesting. Wow. No one gives a fuck. I don't care. Right. I need it to drive smoothly. I need it to get to where I want to go, and I want to be comfortable. And I just need to make sure I can listen to my goddamn music. Thank you. Oh, and if the AC could work at all times without fucking up, that'd be appreciative. By the way, I don't understand. If you are an Uber driver and you don't want to put on your AC, don't be a fucking Uber driver. Get the hell out of here. We don't need your cheap bullshit AC, like, moral issues. Like, I'm not dealing with it. Get out of here. I'm paying you to drive me somewhere in a comfortable fashion. I don't understand people like that, because we're in LA, first of all. Like, you got to put the AC on. The temperatures are hot, motherfucker. And when you roll down the window and just more hot air blows in, it's not helping. It doesn't help. Put on the AC if you want to get that 5-star. And by the way, this is interesting. You know how you can look up your own rating on Uber? Like, I always give 5 stars. I think I gave like a 1-star one time because of, like, I was wasted. Who knows what my problem was? But every time I usually give 5 stars. Like, I don't care if you talk to me, and I don't care if you're silent. I prefer silence. There's something about, like, can I just get driven to a place in silence because I'm just tired and I don't want to have to put energy, and I'm about to go to this party where I'm going to have to amp it up and make sure that I'm having a good mood, and whoever we're celebrating, make sure that I'm having a good time and they're having a good time. So I need to conserve my energy, and I don't need to waste it on you being a stand-up comedian on the other side of the Uber. You know what I mean? On the other side of your Uber experience, you're like, well, really, I do this on the side. I'm actually a comedian. Good luck. Like, I just don't want to engage, right? I'm just tired. But I looked up my, like, Uber credit score, as I guess you call it. Like, I don't even know what it is. And I had a 4.1. And I was like, whoa. Damn. Oh, construction, guys. There's always, like, shit going on here. I live at the end of an alley, and everyone is always doing something with construction, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, we live at, like, a dead-end alleyway, and somehow There's trucks going back and forth here all day. I have no idea why. I've lived here for 2.5 years, and it just it's been a continuous 2.5 years. Oh, man. Yep, this guy, now he's going to crush something. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But it's like never ending. And I think that's just like living in the city in general. It's just there's never ending construction everywhere all by you at all times. Like you just have to live with it. Something's always broken in the city is basically what I'm trying to say. Uh-oh, Papa doesn't like that noise. He ran away under the safety of the bed. Wow, baby. Good job for protecting yourself. Yeah, but my Uber score was a 4.1. And I was like, what the fuck? What do I do? And you know what I do? Nothing. Like, that's my point. I don't engage. I don't talk. I think I come off like I'm really rude. I think I come off as like stuck up or something, but really I'm always nice. I'm like, hey, how are you? And then I get in the car and I'm quiet, right? I don't really want to engage if I really have to. I'm not really loud and outgoing. Like if an Uber driver is talking to me, I'm like, this is my energy level. I'm like, oh, wow, yeah. Just breathing heavily that they can obviously hear. That's why I get my score. I don't mind. I'm kind of disappointed because I always give 5 stars. I always anyways, it's a vibe I'm trying to change, but it means I have to take effort. And the thing is like, at the end of the day, who fucking cares what your Uber score is? Who fucking cares? But it reminds me of that Black Mirror episode. And if you've watched Black Mirror, which I highly recommend, there is that episode where like everyone rates your greeting or rates your whatever. I haven't seen it since like a year or two, but it's so good. And it's a mind fuck, and it's totally, so if you haven't seen the episode, they not only like rate your Uber driver, you rate your like greeting to one another, and you're like, hey, we got 5 points. How are you doing? And they're both supposed to like greet each other. But once you're on a downward spiral, like let's say one person doesn't like your attitude one day, then other people are looking at your score like, oh, you must be a bad person. Right? They're looking at your score and they're like, oh, she must be a bad person. Like now we're sketchy of her. And it's a total mind fuck because it's not actual reality, which leads me to yesterday. Oh shit. Oh my God. I thought I ripped a hole in my onesie, but I didn't. I don't know what happened. Oh, can you imagine like a hole in my onesie? Am I even wearing underwear right now? Oh, fuck. Oh, well. Just welcome to the 9 Lives podcast. It's a mess. It's a mess here. But that's why you're here. Because I'm here to make you feel better about your life not being that much of a mess. You're like looking at me going, oh, you know what? I think I do have it together. Good for you. Real good for you. I'm sitting here in a cat onesie with a hole in a crotch. Meanwhile, you're doing your dishes or driving along and realizing you've probably got some love in your life. That's not exactly where I am. Anyways, what was I talking about? I got distracted by the cat hole in my crotch. Was it what episode? Oh yeah, the Black Mirror episode. Okay, so that leads me to oh, this is blurry really quick, Austin. This got blurry. That leads me to what happened yesterday. Oh, never mind. What happened yesterday was my friend was having a barbecue. All right. We were having like a little get together. A couple of my friends are moving to Colorado, which I'm really sad about. There are these 2 gays that I love so dearly. They're so fun. They have the best sense of humor. I'm so upset. It's rare to find gems like that. You know what I mean? And so they're moving to Colorado, to Boulder. If you live in Boulder, Colorado, heads up, they're starting like a gay bar there. It's going to be like, it's like Beards and Brews. That's not the name of it, but it's like a gay, it could be a straight bar, but it's going to be a gay bar, but I don't know, but it's great. And hopefully I'm going to fly out there and like support them and go see them at one point. But I'm really happy for them. But we're playing this game called The Resistance. And if you haven't played this game, this is an interesting game because it kind of a mind fuck. So it's a shady game. Basically, when I get together with a bunch of gays and we have game night, it's like, let's play shady game night. Like, what's the game that you can fuck people over? So we brought like Exploding Kittens, which is a great game where you try and like there's manipulation and tactics, in order to win the game, right? That's what I mean by like a shady game. So The Resistance, dude, this one is fucked up. It's where, how do I explain it? It's where everyone is part of the resistance except a few. A few are spies. All right. So each round of the game, each game, you have like 2 or 3 spies amongst your friends and you don't know who they are. And so you have to like figure out who they are. Right. And during every game, there's like a mission and you have to decide if the mission's going to fail or if the mission's going to succeed. And if it fails, it means that a spy got in there and made it fail. And you have to like figure out who the spy was. It's more complicated, so I'm not really going to go into the depth of it. But that's the gist, right? And this is why it's interesting. This is why it's very interesting. Because we played this 4 times. And I was a spy 3 out of the 4 times. I didn't get to choose. You kind of get a card randomly to see if you're a spy or not, right? So I'm a spy 3 out of the 4 times. And no one really knew I was a spy. Like, first of all, like no one really like suspected that I was a spy. And there was this girl, and it's so fun to talk shit during this game. You can totally convince others that they're probably a spy based on your knowledge of the cards and like what happened and blah, blah, blah. And there's this girl, Ashley, and she was never a spy. She never got the spy card. Yet every game we were like, Ashley, you're probably a fucking spy. We don't trust you. Look at your face. Look at your attitude. And everyone was like ganging up on her thinking she was a spy. And her own alliance guy. So even the alliances, you don't know if they're really alliance because you don't know who's a spy. I hope this is not getting too confusing for you guys. I hope you can follow along what I'm saying. But let's say like Austin and I are on the same side, but we don't know because we're trying to figure out who the spy is. These guys were like yelling at each other like, you're probably a spy. No, you're a fucking spy. Blah, blah, blah. Like one almost threw a chair. He's like, no, listen up. I know you're a spy, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting back as the actual spy. And by the way, all of the spies know each other who is a spy, but that's it. Only the spies know each other who's a spy or not. And I'm just sitting back as like the actual spy being like, excellent. Yes. Yes, accuse each other of who is the spy when really the spy is right across from you the entire time. And it reminds me straight up of shit like this, like Russia and like America now. Like you could be yelling at your own ally and not actually realize who the real enemy is. It's such a mind fucking game, right? Because once you don't trust someone or anyone, it's really hard to gain that trust back, even though they haven't even done anything. Once you like think you've put the dots together yourself, you don't trust shit. And it's interesting because of how we treat, I mean, it goes even into your relationships, right? Like you're in a relationship and someone fucks you over, right? And then you go into the next relationship and the whole time you're fucking sketchy as fuck of the next relationship, even though they haven't done anything to you. They've been honest with you and all this kind of shit. It doesn't matter. You're still like, yeah, but remember when you didn't answer my call immediately? What were you doing during that time? Like, it's very interesting on just human nature itself. And I don't really know, like, the answer on how to not let that happen. I guess it's the thing of, like, innocent until proven guilty. Like, they have to do something before you project all your bullshit onto somebody, right? All your past experiences and all that crap, you just project onto that person when they're just an innocent bystander wanting the same things as you do. It's just a really fun game. It's a mind fuck. And it's a good time. I highly recommend The Resistance. We had a really fun time with that. By the way, my hair situation, I don't know what the fuck's going on. If you know me, I've had purple hair almost a year. It's been washing out. It's kind of green now. Like, I don't know how to do hair. I need to go to the salon, get it done. But if you're like, oh, what color is that? The answer is fuck if I know. Okay? Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to do hair. I don't know how to braid very well. I'm one of those people that are just hair illiterate. And I don't have the patience for it. Like, even drawing my hair, and like, I've been taught so many times to like curl and stuff. And my arms get tired. I've got long fucking hair. Like, it's too much. Like, I don't care how many tutorials it is. I cannot deal. I can just straighten or I can air dry. And they both look okay on me. It never looks like I get it professionally done, but it just gets me through. So I just want to let you know I'm trying, and I'm not re-dyeing it purple at the moment because I go in the ocean and shit, and that would just be a waste of dye and time. So I'm not. Oh, by the way, I was walking on the beach today. Guess what rolls right up from the beach right in front of me? A possum. A motherfucking dead possum rolls up right onto the beach. And you know, it's like, it's so gross, right? It's so terrifying. And it was also like, you know, you're just sitting there and you're like, God, you know, just the beach feels so good on my feet and I'm just letting it wash over me. And then this dead carcass comes up. It really mind fucks you. This is the name of the podcast today. Stuff that mind fucks you. Because I'm sitting there thinking I'm going to have a nice little relaxing walk. I'm connecting to the universe and we're thinking of and then, oh shit, animal died and drowned. Like, here you go. It really mind fucked me. It was pretty interesting. And then I was this was another day, by the way. I was walking on the beach and this stingray came forward, like washed up on the beach. And this guy, it was alive, by the way, it wasn't dead. It was like moving around. And this guy, like fucking the Bear Grylls that he is, just took that motherfucker by the tail, threw him back in the ocean. And he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know if I could have done that. I would have been like, oh no, someone else do it. Like, oh God, what do we do? And this guy was like, oh yeah, let me just grab this motherfucker by the tail. I mean, don't they like kill people? Isn't that how that animal guy like died? Is by the, what's it called? What's the stingray? Like, how do you make sure you don't die by a stingray? I'm still questionable like that. Like, I don't understand how people swim with stingrays and then like this guy who specifically hangs out with animals all the time gets killed by one. Like, So are we not supposed to be hanging out with stingrays? Like, I just like don't understand. Like, just tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, just let me know. That'd be great. But yeah, the beach just throwing shit up. That's the thing with the beach. You know, it's like, it's going to give you a lot of good things and then it's going to give you a lot of shit. That's basically life, right? You just got to wait for the next one that gives you shit. You just got to wait for the next wave to bring something positive. Speaking of something positive, if you haven't went and watched my last video, I really recommend that you do. Why? Because I took 2 weed cookies to make a cat grill. And if you don't know what a cat grill is, I'm not surprised because I think I made it up. So it's fine. It's basically like a mouth grill, but I just put my cat's name on it. Like it was like Papa Puff. And so I took 2 weed cookies and it was way too much. And I thought I was taking 2 weed cookies and like I was going to get done fast. Like I thought it wouldn't kick it. It would start to kick in right at the end of the video. But then I had to wait 45 minutes for this thing to dry and it's just a mess. I'm basically singing to myself. It goes on for a really long time, but people seem to really, really like it. It was really fun. I didn't expect it to be that fun and funny, and it was a good time. So if you really need to laugh, again, so you can look and realize that your life isn't that bad, I highly recommend the cat grill video with the edibles. It's called Cat Grill with Edibles on Crazy Aveyland. I highly recommend that. But you know, I always got to put in my little 2 cents. So I was reading the news today too. This is interesting. And there was this kangaroo in Australia that broke into a home and then locked himself in the bathroom. First of all, how he could understand to lock a door is crazy to me. Second, kangaroos are huge. Like, kangaroos are not like little things. They're fucking huge. So like to think, I'm like looking at my bathroom right now, my eyes just got super large. Like to think of like a kangaroo just like going in there, slamming the door and locking it. And then what is it going to do in there? Like, what's happening? But yeah, that was really interesting. And it reminds me of when I was in college, I wrote this play called Flushed. And basically, I was looking in the news for ideas. And one of them was, this is what happened. This is a little tip from me to you. If you're ever wanting to know what you should write, if you're ever wanting to like, if you're short for ideas or whatever, just go look in the fucking news. And weird shit happens all the time, right? And it could spark an idea for you to write something. So sometimes that's what I do. So I was looking at the news and there was this woman who went into the bathroom, sat down on the toilet, and stayed there for 2 years. Let me tell you that. And then that, right. You're already thinking like, wait, what? How did she? I know. But when she was sitting on the toilet for 2 years, her skin started to form over the toilet seat and she couldn't move. First of all, how? Why? Wait, what? How do you keep paying your bills? I mean, I don't even understand. But she went into the toilet. She went into the bathroom, sat on the toilet, stayed there for 2 years. Her skin formed over the toilet seat. And then they had they called like, I don't remember what happened, like why she decided I don't know if someone was like, this is it. I can't handle this. Like someone had to have been feeding her. So so they had to have a ambulance come and they removed her with the toilet seat attached to her. They like took the whole toilet because it wasn't just around the top little seat part. It was like started to be around like other areas. I don't know how big she was. I can't remember, but they took like the whole toilet out with her and then had to surgically remove it from her ass. So this was a great idea for a story. I was like, oh, well, I have to fucking write something about this. Obviously, this is a dream. And it's called Flush. And it's a story. I mean, it's a fucked up. It's really funny. It's a comedy. And I wrote a play about it. And basically, like, why? Like, obviously, someone had to come in and be feeding her. You know what I mean? Obviously, someone has to come in and like make sure she has water or whatever. I don't know. Someone is enabling her throughout this process is my point. And then like friends and family, I mean, either she was a complete loner. Like, did she have a TV in the bedroom, like in the bathroom? Like, what was going on there? Did she only read books? Because you're going to go insane if you don't have something to stimulate your mind, right? So what is she doing? These are all the questions that I had. And I wrote this play called Flush. It was good. I got an A on it. Yay for me. And actually it was performed here in Los Angeles. Like I submitted it to something and it was performed. But yeah, isn't that interesting? Like shit like that. Like crazy stories happen all the time in America and we're like, but weird crazy stories. And I love the weird crazy stories. Like, I mean, the political shit is so heavy and like all that stuff, like we're definitely be informed. You know what I mean? But also remind yourself to look up a weird, crazy, like type in weird, odd, crazy stories and shit will come forward. And you're like, did this really happen? And you're like, yeah, bitch. Fucking happened. And then you're like, oh no, it's in my family. By the way, so schizophrenia runs in my family. And for a long time, I thought I was going to have schizophrenia. Like I was terrified because it ran in the women's side of the family, but on my dad's side, not my mom. But I still was like thinking, because it was on my grandma Avey had it, and then my cousin had it, and I thought for sure like I could possibly get it. And usually it comes on like in your early 20s to mid 20s is when you start to see signs. So I was paranoid. Like I never shared this with anyone, but I was always like, okay, is today the day? Like I was like, uh-oh, am I freaking out? I'm like I'd be bartending randomly and then just be like, do I have schizophrenia? Like it was just really random. But like my grandma Avey was in the 70s, like went to shock therapy for it, like was really fucked up. My cousin had been in what's it called? The mental hospital institution for years. But my dad's side of the family is just so fucked up. And I remember going to see my aunt one day and he was like, oh, first of all, my whole family is like that side of the family. There's problems with every single person. Like every single person. I mean, everyone has problems, right? But they're like legal issues, right? It's always something. I remember being like, oh, well, how's my uncle, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, well, he's on house arrest. And I was like, nope, no idea. Oh, yeah, he's driving the 3-wheeler because he can't have his license. Okay, well, how's Uncle blah, blah, blah? Tried to kill himself. Jesus, is he all right? Should we be like, no, his gun backfired and like broke his hand. Oh, thank God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never know. I'm inquiring like, oh, how's so-and-so doing? And I I think what I was just looking for was like, pretty good. Thanks for asking. Just like something basic. But like my dad's side of the family just goes into it, right? Like head on. You know what I mean? Like you could be at the mail, at the post office, run into them and get all our problems right then and there. Like they would just share. And then during the same conversation, I was like, "Oh, how's my cousin?" Blah blah blah. I'm not saying the names for privacy, just in case. You never know. And they're like, "Oh, well, he's in jail because he stealing madrona trees to make guitars and sell them." I'm like, "What? What does that even mean? What do you mean stealing madrona trees?" "Oh, well, he's going on properties for, what's it called? Like, God, properties where like national forests that you can't cut down trees in. He's going on there, cutting them down to make madrona, like to get like this good wood in order to sell guitar." I'm like, God, this is like why is it so complicated? What is this? I don't understand this. Right? He's in jail. He's in prison. He wasn't even in jail. He was in prison. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, well, how's my other cousin? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, this was a blessing. I was like, oh, great. This is wonderful. Well, and this is my schizophrenic cousin, by the way, right? She's like, well, someone came on her property. And so she got her shotgun and started to shoot at them. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. And then she got in her car and tried to chase him down. And I'm like, what? She's like, oh, yeah, they had about 10 cop cars following her. What? Oh, yeah. And, they put down the strip to have her pop her tires out, so they could stop her. What? Where's the blessing? And she's like, well, the blessing is there were a lot of homicides that week on the news, so she didn't make the news. That was the fucking blessing. And I'm like, well, yeah, glass half full. Shit. This is why, but by the way, I'm sharing with you about my dad's side of the family. I'm sharing with you all this shit that my dad's like, it's a very serious thing, right? It's a very like heavy side of my family, like heavy legal shit, heavy mental shit, heavy crazy shit. Okay. And that I was into, like, you go there for the summers, and I saw a lot of crap growing up, right? And I saw a lot of emotional shit, mental abuse, all that kind of stuff. And I just want to say, if you have family like that, I get it. I fucking get it. I also had my mom's side of the family who was just very passive aggressive. That was their shit, but it wasn't as deep, And I had both sides of these things. And so I feel like there's a part of me that like understands the like fucked up side of people where they're just going to go drink and smoke and like get fucked up because shit that's going on in their family is too much. I understand that. Like I went down that road for a little bit. You know what I mean? I also understand the road of where you're going to get an education and you're in sports and you're involved in school and you're doing healthy things too. Like I get that side of the family because that's like my mom's side of the family. So I feel like I'm both of these things together. And I just want to let you know that whatever you're going through or whatever, like I just fucking get it. And I can relate. That's why like in high school and stuff, I could relate so much to the quote unquote stoners or the people that would just go to parties and get fucked up or the people who were like involved in like legal shit. I never, I was lucky, knock on wood. I never was like really involved in, legalities where I would get arrested for underage drinking or anything like that. But like, I understand people that are like in that realm. And I also understand people who are like in German club at school. Cause I was in German club and I was in drama club and I was like school treasurer. And you know what I mean? I was in volleyball. Like, I was in all this shit. Captain of the swim team. And then I also got high and fucking partied. Like, I did both of those things. 17, I went to frat parties at colleges. Like, I did both of these. I was in both lifestyles. And it's interesting because I guess what I wanted to say is that you're so much more layered and multifaceted than I think that what you are. Because a lot of times we like watch these movies and we're like, oh, clicks. And this is what you're in, and this is what you're in, and this is the like group that you're in. And I'm just here to say that like I never resonated with that because I was with all the groups. And I wasn't just one particular area, and that's who I am. That's why you see Crazy Avey Land and you realize all my videos are different. It's not just one thing because I'm so different. I'm not just a parody. I'm also like getting high and making cat grills. And then I love music videos, right? And then I love doing sketch work. And then I love just shooting the shit and talking about stuff. I'm all of those things. That's why I'm doing this podcast too. I'm also someone who just wants to fucking have cats, talk about them, and then talk about other deep shit too. I'm all that stuff. And I think a lot of people are like that. I actually don't think like I'm just so weird. I think a lot of people are like that, but they feel like they have to go in one certain route because that's like the only thing that, like, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, right? Well, now I fit in this Dungeons and Dragons mold of like what it is to be a Dungeons and Dragons player. You know what I mean? So now I have to kind of mold my life around this. But really, I don't think that. I think you can be into Dungeons and Dragons, and I think you can be into fucking sports, and then I think you can go to therapy, and then I think you can be straight. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people need to experience that they can be all of these things all the time, and that's where we're going in this world. Like, we're not, like, we're getting rid of labels and all this shit. You know, it's so interesting. I went to Berlin in the summer of 2008 for college for the honors program. Your girl's a little smart sometimes. Not always, but like on paper, it looks pretty good sometimes. But I went to the honors program in Berlin and did this, we did a theater program there. And you get to choose what your thesis is, right? And you get to research there, whether you're there for a couple months. And my thesis was the LGBTQ lifestyle in Berlin. Like, I wanted to like understand what it was like, right? And I don't even know why I chose that, but I'm such an advocate for them. And I was just really curious at the time, like what, if it's different in America than it is in Berlin, right? Or in Germany. So I was just kind of confused and just wanted to see a different perspective. And boy, did I fucking get one. And you know why I'm bringing up these labels and like why you shouldn't just be in one area? Because this thing shook me, because it made me realize how American I can be. And I was asking, it's so fascinating over there. By the way, they had a gay mayor, the Berlin at the time. And I was asking people like, God, you have a gay mayor? That's exciting. City of Berlin. You know, what is it? How was the campaign for that? You know, did that come into factor? How did that play out? Was there using smear campaigns for that? And they were like, no. They didn't have smear campaigns for the gay mayor. And I was like, what? I automatically was thinking that would be an issue. I automatically was thinking that. And I was saying like, well, what happened? Like, why not? I mean, I'm glad that there wasn't, but like, why do you think that was? They're like, because it has nothing to do, your sexuality has nothing to do with the job that you're going to put forth. And it doesn't matter what you do on that time. We want to know what your credentials are. We want to know your history of service to the community. We want to understand why you would be the best mayor, and it has nothing to do with your home life on some level, right? Because here in America, you got to have, goes back, I don't know if you've watched the Gloria Allred documentary. So fascinating. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu, one of those two. Go and watch it. It's so fucking good. But what they would do is when even they would hire men for positions, they would also interview the women, like back in the 50s, 40s, whatever. They'd also interview the women on how their wives are. So if their wives are put together, that means the guy is put together, and that means he can do the job, right? But how many people do we know in life who have successful businesses and are shit home lives? A lot. A lot. Just because you own a business or are good at business doesn't mean you're good in your home life, right? And it's so true. And like a lot of that comes from like not being able to deal with like emotional problems, or like not being properly taught how to express and all that kind of stuff. But you can still be successful in the business world and have a shitty home life. Let's just remember that. Okay? So it was interesting that he was like, it doesn't matter. As long as you're a good person, like you want good, you want to be able to have integrity, right? But it was funny being in Berlin and learning about this. And then I was asking these two straight brothers, right? I was like, well, what would happen? Let's say hypothetically, if your brother was gay, how would you feel? Or, how would you come out to him? Like, I was like, have you ever thought about these things? And this is not a gay person. Like, I was asking straight males this, because like, I was wondering, that perspective as well, not just the gay community itself. I was wondering how the straight community viewed the gay community over there. And these guys were looking at me like, what do you mean coming out? Why would he have to do that? And I was like, well, to let you know he was gay, like that's a process here in America. In America, it is like, takes a lot of guts. It takes their own time. They can be like left out from their families, right? All this kind of stuff. So I'm asking them, I'm like, how would you don't know how he's going to feel about it. And he's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, he doesn't have to ever tell me it. He looks at me and he goes, you Americans have to label everything. And I was like, he's like, oh, you have to know. He's like, he said, you Americans have to know who someone is at all times. And I was shook, and I was like, yeah, I'm very much like that. I don't care what you are, but I'd like to know. And I realized that about myself, that's where I come in and I'm like, holy shit, I'm a goddamn motherfucking American, aren't I? We have to like tell you who we are. Even in general, not just the LGBT, not just like the gay community, right? Sorry, I have my like retainers in, and saying the LGBTQ is like kind of hard for me because of these goddamn retainers. But anyways, it's interesting because even on any level, we have to let you know who we are. I got to let you know that I'm a strong, independent woman. I got to let you know that I like cats. Everyone needs to know that I like cats, that I'm not ashamed of it. Like, right? Like, we're all, if you're not using your voice, you're not being a true American on some level. If you're not picking a side and standing for that right, or who you are, or what you believe in, then you're not really American, because you have that right. We fought for that right. So if you're not using that right, then somehow you're not being patriotic, really. So like, to go over to that side of the world and like hear that, like, was really interesting to me, because it made me realize that, like, why do we have to know? Why do we even have to label? Why do we even have to, like, if you're cis, trans, like, blah, 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 like, there's a part where it's like, just for me, just by going to another country, I'm not saying what we do here is wrong necessarily, but to give another perspective on it, sometimes it's like, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares what you are? No offense, but like, Why don't we just be, and then you just kind of do what you need to do and it's fine. Why do we have to like realize what your label is, and everyone needs to understand what's going on with you, and everyone needs to understand what's going on with me? Because actually it's not anyone's job but your own to realize who you are. On another level, that goes on with grief. I don't know if you're going through grief. I don't know if you're going through a transition crisis, or not crisis, but like you're going through transitions. You're dealing with this. I'm speaking up for myself more now, guys. I'm really setting my boundaries more now because I was violated so much as a child. Great. No one else needs to know. Not because we don't want to hear it or like it's not good to share it. Like you should always share your story. But like if someone else doesn't get it, it's not their fucking job. It's your job to get who you are and to understand who you are and to be at peace with who you are. And you're not going to be at peace if you think everyone else should get what you're doing. That's my point, right? If you're not at peace that everyone like understands what's going on with you, then you're never going to be at peace, because you should just be at peace with like who you are and what you're doing and know what you're fucking doing over here. And if they don't get it, they don't fucking get it. Fuck them. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not saying we don't have pride or anything. I'm not saying that we don't have women marches. Like, I mean, do whatever you need to do. But if no one else gets it, that's on them. It's not on you. And that's where like true relaxation into who you are is when you don't give a fuck if anyone else gets it. It really like opened my eyes a lot. It was really interesting. But at the same time, I'm a fucking American. Here I am with my own podcast by myself, sharing my opinions. How much more American could I fucking get? I got a cat onesie on, just shooting my own mouth off. Proud to be a cat American, for at least I know I'm free. Remember? At least I know I'm free, bitch. It's so condescending. And I love it. I love that song. Doesn't make me less American, because I've got an attitude. But I'm just saying, like, isn't that interesting? I don't know. I hope you don't have to agree with me. I'm interested to see what your thoughts are. If that even if that even made sense. I love visiting. That's why you visit other countries, is because you just, and by the way, Germans are so weird. Like I tell a joke. Like, let's say I like being sarcastic with Germans is like exhausting, right? Because I'll be sarcastic, right? And then they're like, well, then they tell you why something couldn't really be true because of A, B, and C. And you're like, I'm being sarcastic. Like, it's a joke. Like, I know that. You don't have to like go into the inner mechanical workings of why this actually isn't right. Like, I know. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, Germans are so funny like that. Doesn't mean they have a bad sense of humor, but like they try and break it down for you on why something might not work. And you're like, I know, bitch, it's a fucking joke. I know it's not working. It's a joke. So fun. I just got a random text message from somebody that says, this is what I thought might go with the vanity. And I have no idea who this person is, and they just showed me a picture of their plants. I don't know who you are.
You don't like it, and you think something else.
Pipe down, Austin. Austin, tell me you don't like it. I'm like, ooh, girl, that looks so good. That's more my style. Ooh, girl. That looks so good. Let's see if they write back. No idea who that person is. I got a new phone number about like a week ago. By the way, it's a California number. I specifically got it. I had my old Washington number since I was 15. And there just comes a point where you realize people don't need to be calling me. People don't need my number. Like I was like 14. Like I was like one of the first ones out of my friends to get a phone number. And so like my friends would be like, oh, I'm going to give them your phone number so they can call us. Right. So they like called a group of girls and it would be like my phone. So who fucking knows how many people have my goddamn number? And I just realized I was like, I don't need that. I got to cut the cord with that shit. People don't need my number. And if they really need to get a hold of me, there's so many ways that are necessary. You can email me. I'm on social media. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you really need to get a hold of me, there's a way. But it's kind of hard to do sometimes because it's an umbilical cord to Washington. I always love Washington and always will, but it was kind of exciting to finally get like a new number that was like in LA, and it was like, yeah, bitch, I'm serious. I'm here with my cat call, my cat onesie. We're doing it. Yay. This person isn't writing me back. Fucking rude. Oh, this person, I kind of thought it would go well. Ask Debbie. Who the fuck's Debbie?
Debbie says it sucks.
Austin, you and your... God, Austin.
I'll be Debbie.
Oh my God. Austin's Debbie. I'm gonna be like, honestly, you have the wrong number. Debbie got a...
Debbie.
I'm gonna write Debbie not here no mo. New number. No, I'll just write Debbie not here no mo. Sorry, girl. Anyways. Well, this has been fun. I mean, I start rambling. You know what I mean? 9 lives. We literally take 9 different turns every time here on this podcast. The 9 Lives podcast. We don't know where we're going to fucking die and get reborn again, right? This podcast is all over the fucking place. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. Until next week, you make sure you go check out the crazy Avey Land videos if you can, and let me know. Give it a like, a thumbs up. This is how we grow. By you sharing, by you letting people know that the 9 Lives podcast exists, by all those talking moments with you is how we grow, and I just so appreciate it. Tag me on your Instagram. Tag me everywhere. Let me know what you're listening to because I want to know. It makes me feel good. Love you guys so much. Bye, babe. Bye, babe.
Pee, pee, pee.